Okay, I'm going to give you a quick demonstration on the this right here. It's the RCBS APS bench priming unit. The last video I put up of it, I figured out what I did wrong after I put up the video. I was having a little trouble with it, and the primers were going off center. I couldn't figure out why, because as you can see, I've screwed it onto a 2x4 because I have limited bench space, so I need to be able to just take it off and on the bench surface easily. So what I've done is I attached to a 2x4 and I put it here. And the problem I was having was I wasn't securing. I was securing it with a C-clamp, but it wasn't secure enough to stop it from wobbling, and that little bit of wobble would cause it to rock a few degrees and vibrate, and the primers are going off center. So that's why I was having trouble. Anyway, what I'll do here is, of course, just fasten to the bench with these two C-clamps here. And the key, of course, to stopping it from causing the problems it did when I was doing the video the first time is make sure both clamps are on there very securely so that the 2x4 can't wiggle. And there you have it. So now that once that's down, you have to use since I'm going to be loading 10 30-06 cases for velocity evaluation with two different powders. Since it's using large rifle primers, I'll show you the two little bushings you use in the shell holders. This one right here is for small primers. This is for large primers. Since this is large primers only, I'll be using it. But to give you an idea how you use it, take my shell holder out of the press. Use your regular shell holder in conjunction with it. But since this is a large primer only, you just take that bushing and you put it right in the underside of the shell holder. And that's what you do with the large primer. You only put the one bushing. If you're loading small primers, you take the small primer pocket bushing and you actually put it right inside the large primer pocket bushing, because the large primer pocket bushing is big enough inside. It just acts as a shim to fill in the whole thing, and then you insert it. But since I'm only loading large primers, you only use one bushing. If you're using small primers, you use both bushings. Anyway, so you put the bushing inside the shell holder, and then I forgot. And then you also have this right here. There are two of these. You have the one you can clearly tell the difference. One's the ram for the small primers. So you can see it's substantially smaller up here than it is down at the base of it, where that goes to the bottom. And then you have the ram for the large primers, which is only a small junction there where it's machined downward. So again, we're loading large primers. So the first thing you do is, and you've got to do this right. This is one thing about the APS thing. You have to push the ram up first. If you don't, you'll get this down in there. Either ram you try to put in there and it'll get off center. And the only way to get it out at all, trust me on this, I've had to do it once or twice when I messed it up, is take out these 4 cap screws and then take the plate off and then reach in there and get the ram out. So anyway, you push the arm all the way down. Make sure that the bigger end of the ram goes down in here. You push it straight down. You can hear it. And you push down your thumb, make sure it bottoms out. And then you lower the ram, and then you're ready to go. So I'll go ahead and insert the shell holder with the bushing. Let's go over to this side now. Hopefully everything's visible here. It seems pretty clear. I could be closer, but okay. Anyway, when you load it, it goes really quickly. You have your strips, which I have already preloaded. I have 8 of these. Each of these strips holds 25 primers. Whether they be large, whether they be small primers, doesn't matter. They hold 25, period. And I'm only going to be loading 10, so anyway, here's the primer strip. And you insert it with this thing right here, which is what allows you to actually attach them to each other if you want. And it goes into the strip, into the primer, the bench priming unit, with that part going forward until it's lying level on this. It's kind of like a sliding tray, and then you push until you hear one click. Once you get that one click, you're ready to go. And it's super easy. I mean, this is, to me, the best priming system out there. This unit here, I think it sells for like around $100, depending on where you get it on sale. That's about what it costs. And of course, I have the strip loader, which I do have in another video. I didn't really have trouble with it, but that costs about another $30. You can buy these primers already loaded, but it's easier to get regular primers and then just load them into strips. So anyway, we put a case in there, and all you have to do is this: just push down, and it has a positive stop. The primers go to the proper depth the first time, every time. That's the cool thing about it, and it goes as quick as you can move the handle. Next one. Bottomed out. And anyone who knows anything about primers knows that ideally you don't have the primers seated flush. You have them seated 5 thousandths below flush. And what that does is it slightly, where's it, 5 thousandths. It slightly compacts the priming compound and sensitizes it so that you will get much more reliable ignition. And that's about it. So again, you don't want just flush, you want it slightly below level. And I have there's a screw right here that you can use to adjust that. Once you get that set, then you really don't have to adjust it again. I haven't had to for anything I've loaded. It just works great. I mean, it works perfectly every time. And if you saw my earlier video, I was having trouble getting the primers to go in right. They were getting cocked and they weren't going in quite right. But this time, since I have the board secured properly, everything goes easy. And it's just this simple, just that simple. And I'm going slow, and I could really turn them out. And that's it. 10 rounds just like that, primed. And worth the investment. As I said, this idea here was just to bolt it to a 2x4, and then I can clamp it to the bench. That way I can free up my bench space when I want. Keep the thing I want permanently there, the press and my case trimmer over here. And that's it. Thanks for watching.